Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Productive Environment Podcast. As you can see on the screen, our topic for today is Carolina Beach, North Carolina, 1,000-year flood. Are you organized for the unexpected? I am Andrea Anderson, CEO of Productive Environment Institute, and I am right here in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute, but I am joined by...
I'm Barbara Hemphill. I'm the founder of Productive Environment Institute. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we haven't had floods like Carolina Beach, but our lake is out of its banks that I look out of my window. So there's always something new to look at.
Oh my goodness, yes, that's a great way to that's a great way to look at it. We had our Pep Talk podcast scheduled for today, and what better topic to cover than right here and right now. If you guys have been watching, no matter where you are in the country or in the world, you perhaps have seen Carolina Beach, North Carolina on the news. And some of the videos, actually two of my videos made it to the national news. And I was contacted by somebody in Raleigh and asked permission to use my videos. And Barbara and her husband recorded it for me. So I got a screenshot of my name. So I'm like, yeah, I finally made it on the news. I'm famous. So, so that was fun. But I want to just, in the background of our conversation, we're going to have a conversation, but I want to share some of the videos that I took and some of my neighbors here in Carolina Beach. And I want to talk to you guys. We want to talk to you guys about how to prepare for the unexpected. Let me just get this video up first. Share screen, Facebook. These are posted on my Facebook page as well as in a private Carolina Beach group on Facebook as well. So I'm just gonna, I think I've got the volume off. I'll just play this in the background. This is actually right outside my window. Today, Tuesday, the sun is shining. It's beautiful out. No more rain right now, but it is still very, very flooded. So I'll play that for you guys. This was yesterday. Okay, so this was happening yesterday, and I'm looking out the window at it and recording. I mean, that's the dumpster's not supposed to be there. Things were floating. That's a street. On the other side of those bushes is a street. That's Lake Park Boulevard. And then there's supposed to be grass and some bushes and a little fence to the lake. Well, the lake actually came into my parking lot of my condo. I'm up one level, so the carport is underneath me. I have, no flooding damage. Did have some ceiling damage, but that actually happened during the last actual hurricane. And this storm is unnamed. So I know it's on the East Coast. So Barbara, you got some. My mom down in Morehead City got some of it as well. And this storm is unnamed. And the reason I'm saying that is because those of us on the East Coast, and I think those of you wherever you are, you know what storms and natural disasters are normal in your area, right? We get hurricanes. So we know how to prepare for hurricanes. We know they're out there. We know they're coming. We watch the track. We board up. We do all these things. There's a water rescue happening right there, just around the corner from me. There was a car that sat there for a while with its lights on, and then some people came. I didn't know anybody was still in it, but there was somebody in the car. This happened really fast. Like, we did not know. We knew we were getting a storm, but we didn't know it was a hurricane. I mean, it wasn't a hurricane. It wasn't even a tropical storm, really. And in fact, Barbara, I had gone to the gym in the morning at 6:30, got back here. Dee and I came back here at 7:30. So past the lake and pulled into my parking lot and said, "Oh, the lake looks weird." And he said, "Oh yeah, they drained it because the storm's coming." So when we do know that we're getting a hurricane or a lot of rain, they will drain the lake in advance.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. There's pipes right outside my door. I think I've got a video of that. Did I post that one? Yeah, I did. I'll share that in a minute. So he said, "Oh, they drained the lake." I said, "Oh yeah, good. Okay, they drained the lake." And that was about it. We had breakfast. So then it was about 8:30, quarter to 9. And let me restart the video. And then he said, "Okay, I'm going to head out, blah, blah, blah." So he drives out. It's raining, but it's just raining. And then he drives in front on Lake Park Boulevard and can barely get through at this point. The water is already up. The lake had, during breakfast, the lake had risen and come over the road. and he got through and was like, what in the world? So it happened really, really fast. We are typically very prepared here in Eastern North Carolina for this kind of thing, but this was very unexpected, and that's why they're calling it a 1,000-year flood. So yeah, it happens. So let me see.
I heard there were what, 19 inches of rain yesterday. That was the
Yeah, within a 12-hour period. There was a lot of rain and within a 12-hour period. Yeah. So again, it just kind of came out of, it felt like it came out of nowhere and just so that's more the water rescue. I think, oh no, yeah. That's not the one where the truck comes through. Let me give you let me do the one from today if I can get back to it. Let's see. Oh, I don't even know if I have the one from today. Oh, you know what? It's in the Carolina Beach group. So let me go to that group real quick. Carolina Beach locals group. And there's lots, I mean, my goodness, so many videos and so many things in here, which I mean, of all of the rain. So like I said, and parts of the island flood regularly, but this time parts of the island that normally don't flooded. So there's some more. Oh, that's me. Is that me? Yeah, that's mine. That's morning. Okay? So this is 24 hours after my previous video. So you can see the sun is coming out. It's not raining, but look at that water. It is still very, very high. And what's so interesting is look at the little gazebo right there, and the railings are sticking straight out with nothing underneath. That's a walkway. That's supposed to be a walkway. And the birds are hanging out on it. The walkway is gone. And so, yeah. And I think to watch to the far right, you'll see this is where they actually drain the lake. Okay. It's so weird. There's pipes that they'll run. Watch right here to the right. You will see. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to pan over now. There you go. So you see these hoses and pipes, and they run directly to the ocean. So they're draining the lake from the lake to the ocean to get it down. And they did it before the storm, and it still wasn't enough. So anyway, all that to say that no matter how prepared you are for something, you can still be caught off guard. And with us, when I talk about preparation, hurricane preparation, the first thing that comes to mind for me, and I think for a lot of people, is, okay, do I have batteries for my flashlight, right? You guys, when you have thunderstorms or tornadoes or whatever, get your batteries for your flashlight. Do you have bottled water on hand? Do you have some reason, especially snow, which we don't get here, but what is it? Bread and peanut butter and milk, the norm. But so there are things like that you can kind of have. I've got light bulbs. I have special light bulbs that if my power goes out, my light bulbs will stay on. They're special light bulbs that plug in and they stay on.
We have those too. It's so funny. First time I bought them, and I didn't tell Alfred that I bought them, and the power went out, and the light, he says, "This is weird."
The lights are on. Everything else is out, but the lights are on. Yeah, and they're very expensive, but I make sure I have at least one in each room, one in the bathroom, one in the bedroom, one in the living room. So, I've done all that. Living here, we know to do those things. But what I want to talk about is the information. Are you organized for the unexpected? Do you have your information organized where if you did need to evacuate? Thankfully, I mean, I'm up high. I didn't have any flooding coming in. I don't need to go anywhere. My vehicle was up high enough. It was fine. Other people around me, not so lucky. But I mean, in my building, they're fine if they were up high with me, but other areas on here, their vehicles are just completely shot. And because they didn't know to move to higher ground. We did not know this was going to happen this fast.
And that's an example, that's an example too of one of the things we talk about in Productive Environment Institute all the time is to control the things you can so you can cope with the things you can't. So let's think about the people who now don't have a car. I mean, that wasn't anything that they could have prevented because they weren't notified. I mean, the schools weren't closed. I mean, so
they weren't.
Nobody knew that this was going to happen. So this is one of those things over which you have no control. But let's think about when, okay, now you need to replace the car. You need to get it repaired. You need to What
Insurance.
information, yeah, what information do you need to do that? And so I think that's what we really want to focus on today, is making
That's
sure that
right.
you have that information. And if you're a paper person, there's a way that you can do that. But ideally, at least a lot of it, I'm very much a paper person, but the things that are really important, I do have digitally. So I
That's
could
right.
get them from anywhere. And I think that's one of the things. So it's about coping with the things, controlling the things you can control. So I can control my paper, my digital information. So
Yep.
I'm prepared for that. So
Yeah.
that when those other things can, and this was such a blatant example. This isn't what we talked about, planned to talk today, but it was
Nope.
so important because it happens. We don't know in the days
That's
ahead.
right.
We do not know what's going to come.
That's right. So I want to share one of our favorite tools is our very own productive environment digital dashboard. We use this digital dashboard. I'm going to share this tab. This is a portion of our digital dashboard, and we use it for everything. I mean, I use it to make a master task list. If something pops in my head, I put it on the list here, order something, buy something, do something, and then it gets distributed, into my to-do list and my calendar. I've got a place for my email. I've got a place for my link to my calendar, recurring to all of these things. Even as Barbara said, we might have, and we do have our files, our physical files, meticulously organized and accessible in our physical filing cabinets. But if you evacuate or you're traveling and you're away from home when something like this happens, you don't have access to your physical filing cabinet. You can look it up and see what's where. This is actually part of our office transformation boot camp. You learn how to set up a physical finding system for the physical files that you keep in your space. And in our digital transformation boot camp, we teach you how to set up digital and how to declutter your email and all kinds of things like that, and have a place to put your ideas and then quick links, passwords, things like that. But we also need a place for emergency prep and info. So again, it's not, you can have a link to a checklist. These are just a couple examples here. Let's have a link to a checklist. And this checklist could be batteries, water, et cetera, all the things that you want to be prepared for. But then also, do you have your neighbors' names and numbers, right? So do you have, I'm gonna put my people on here. This is my demo, so this is not my actual account. Um, do you have your neighbors' names and numbers where you can connect with them and even check on them if they need help? And then your HOA, your vehicle information, as Barbara just said, you want to know who your insurance is. Do you have your VIN number? Do you have your vehicle? I have insurance below that, but I'm just going to separate that between the home and because maybe if you own your home, you've got homeowners insurance. If you're a renter, you've got renter's insurance. Do you have that information easily accessible? And then pets, do you have your pet records? If do you have their vaccination records? So if you do have to evacuate to a shelter, for example, you might need to prove that your pets are vaccinated in order to bring them in with you. Things like that. What else, Barbara? What do you think of that I haven't put on this list? And you guys,
Medications is a really important one.
yes, yes.
I mean, that's
I'll
any
Yep.
medical equipment that
Let's do
need to have.
medical and then medications. And what's great about this tool, our productive environment dashboard, is that you can actually upload an image. So if you have a prescription, a written prescription, or a snapshot, a picture of your prescription bag or something, you could upload an image of that. So if you're somewhere else and you need to be able to get a prescription filled, you can do that. You've got your information. Doctor, doctor info, whatever, anything that you think of. And then what's even better is that you can share this with other people. So I can take this whole emergency prep and info. If I don't want to share all this other stuff, because say this is all personal stuff up here, but I want to share this with my mom, who's in the green room behind the scenes of this podcast. If I wanted to share this with her, I would just click these three little dots and I would click share. And then I can share a link to this with her. so she could see. I mean, you could share it with a neighbor, you could share it with family members. I happen to live Carolina Beach, as if you know the area, is a resort town. So there are a lot of people who own property here that don't live here. They own property here. So they're like, hey, can somebody drive by my house? Hey, can anybody see what's going on this street? Um, and there are people here on vacation who were down for the week or the weekend. And I ran into some on my street. What's good is the front near the lake is completely flooded. You can't drive up or down or walk in it. But this side, which actually faces the ocean, is clear. It's dry and clear and perfect to walk on. And so, yeah, so all this flooding was not from the ocean. This was not a storm surge situation. This is from rain. So I was walking up and down the street with the dogs, and I was talking to people, and I met some people who said, we're on vacation down here, and they were really stressed. Their anxiety was way up. And I said, are you okay? And they're like, not really. And I said, what's wrong? And they said, well, there's only one way off the island, and we don't know what to do, and we don't know if we can get out, and we don't know. And I said, no, actually, there's more than one way off the island. And I said, depending on the flooding that direction, further a different way, I said, you may be able to get through down there, and here's how you do it, blah, 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 which actually turned out to be right. It was clear the other direction, but they didn't even know that there was another way off. So I say that to say, you could put on here on your emergency prep and info, you could put evacuation route if you are traveling somewhere else. If you own vacation property and you've got renters, or you Airbnb your property, having something like this that you can share with your people that are staying in your place is a great idea also. So this is more about information. Go ahead, Barbara.
Well, I was going to say, this is the idea with this is now is, okay, this. My husband introduced me, he's a retired Army, and he introduced me to the term after action report. So one of the things that whenever you go through something like this is really a good time to update it. And often we don't. We think, oh, I'll do that later, and then later never comes. I mean, that's why your roof isn't repaired from the hurricane, because later never.
Later they did. Yeah, we had ordered. We had the guy was supposed to do it, and he didn't do it, and now here we are. It's worse.
Yeah. So now this is a time to do that. And one very good way is to use the tool that we talk about in PEI all the time, which is our 5-step productive environment process. And step one is, what's your vision? So like, okay, if you knew you had to leave immediately, what would you need? Sit down and put all that together, think about it, and just be intentional. One of the words we use a lot is intentional. We use that about physical things, making sure that the things around you, are they here intentionally? And then also the way you think, your intentional thoughts. And we're doing courses now on brain training. It's like you can train your brain to be intentional with the way your brain thinks that prevents you from being so stressed. So part of your vision is how you want to feel. And one of the things that comes to mind is, what an incredible opportunity to be a good neighbor. When, like Andrea talked about, the people that were all stressed, and she was able to help them. The more together you are, the more you're going to be able to bless other people, to help them, to give them comfort, to give them hope, to give them information. So step one is state your vision. Step two is, what are your obstacles? When you think about, okay, what haven't I done yet? What is it that I know I need to do in the plan, but I haven't done it yet? And that would be, and then 3, what are the resources? What are the different things? And that becomes a way to collect all of this. It gives you a framework. We use the framework a lot because it helps you to make decisions. We go back to our premise of clutter is postponed decisions. Well, clutter in anything, clutter in evacuating. So for example, if you have to leave quickly and you don't have a plan, if you don't have a framework, it's going to be chaotic. But the more that you can have a plan, and the more you're using that framework. So step 1, state your vision. 2, identify your obstacles. 3, commit your resources. And then 4, design and execute your plan, and talk about it with your family. Make sure that your family knows what you're doing. So if one of the things that comes, if this happens and you're separated from each other, How are you going to communicate? Where are you going to meet? All those kinds of things. And then step 5 is basically the after action report. It's sustain your success. So it's like, okay, this happened and we could have done this better, and it keeps getting better and better. So to use my poor mother-in-law's phrase, every day in every way, we're getting better and better. So you can make this better and better as you keep doing it. But it's something that you have to be intentional about. So this gave us a good opportunity to do that.
And you can tell by my by my list, that my list is going to be a little different than your list. You see, I have pets on here, but I don't have kids on here. So if you have kids, you want to put your kids on the list. And maybe you have, you have special needs for each child, a specific, something that's for them, or your adult kids, or whatever, family members. You can customize your digital dashboard any way that you need to. But this, as Barbara said, this is a good time to be thinking about it, because like I said, if we know a hurricane's coming, we have at least a week, and we prepare and prepare and prepare. And I can look at this list. Maybe you guys can look at the list too and add to it. If you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, to comment some other things that you might add to the list that I don't have on the list. We'd like to hear from you. But also, think about this. You probably have all of this information somewhere, but it's probably all separate. I know for me, for years, I had my pet information, I had my things filed for medical, I had things over here, I had things over there. But this is a way to bring them all together into what we call a digital dashboard. And so that is, if you don't hear anything else from today, you might think, yeah, I know how to prepare. I got it. But putting it all together in a way that you have quick and easy access to it. This is the tool we use. This is accessible on the computer, but there's also an app for it. We teach this in our digital transformation boot camp that is starting next week. We actually have a special on it right now until midnight tonight. So depending on when you're watching this, Ed, if you'll post a link wherever there she is, digitaltransformation-bootcamp.com, and you can sign up for that. And if you miss today's deadline, because depending on when you're watching this, just shoot us a message and say, when's your next boot camp? And you can message us at our main website, productiveenvironment.com, and there's a contact button in the bottom. So you can just go there and enter contact. Now, let me just say this. Let me get this out of my brain. We have 2 boot camps that we offer virtual. There are 5 weeks. There's 10 sessions over 5 weeks. They are chock full of things, information, and systems and tools that you will use for the rest of your life, including this digital dashboard. Okay. And so we want you to check those out for sure. If you are not able to participate in one of those boot camps for whatever reason, but you are interested in the digital dashboard alone, we will be doing a workshop on that. I don't have the information for you on it now, but we will do a standalone digital dashboard workshop. So go to productiveenvironment.com, click contact, and then say interested in digital dashboard workshop. That's all you have to do. And then we'll get you on our waiting list and reach out to you when we do offer that. Like I said, it is included in both of our boot camps, our digital transformation boot camp and our office transformation boot camp. And it is literally, it's a life changer, because it literally has everything that you need all together in one place. It's your task manager, it's your information manager, and you can go. And like Barbara, you said, if people are physical based and you're paper based and you don't trust the internet and you don't trust digital, just use it as the tool to get things set up, but then you can actually print. So you can open up this emergency prep list, have all your information here, numbers, all of these drop downs, everything here, and then you can print this out. You can print it and take it with you. Okay? You can print it and put it in a plastic sheet protector and take it with you. So there are all kinds of ways that you can gather this information up, have it in one place, share it with somebody else, and take it with you. What am I missing, Barbara?
Well, I think what's really important here is to think about what, organizing, we say all the time, organizing in and of itself has no value. It's to help you do something. And in this case, we're talking about specifically about being prepared. We're also talking about being a good neighbor, being a good parent, being a good spouse, whatever, to make it easier for other people. A productive environment, we talk about a productive environment being your physical environment, your digital environment, your mental environment, and being productive about how you handle situations so that you can be calm in the midst of the storm. So I think that that's a really important thing. And one of the other things is that the more you do this, the better you get. So it does get easier. At first, it seems so overwhelming because unfortunately, we don't teach any of this in school. We never have. We're in our education system now, we're taking out a lot of things that are important. We've taken out physical education, which makes virtually no sense at all. We've taken out music. All the research shows that when people do music, they have better grades and things like that. We're not teaching practical things. So sometimes we have to create those, and being organized is something that helps you accomplish your work and enjoy your life and enable others to do the same. So the more you get, and it's all about decision making. So if you go back to the 4 words that created this company, it was clutter is postponed decisions. So the action that I would encourage you to do today is to make a decision about what you need to do in order to be prepared for an emergency, as specifically as it relates to your information. And the sooner you do it, the better, because you're going to get more skilled at it. And the older you get, the harder it is to do it. So if you do it now, it's a habit. I've told the story many times, but there's no better way to illustrate it. Is we first got married. We just celebrated our 38th wedding anniversary recently. And when we first got married, my husband would give me stuff to file because he had real estate and all that stuff. And he'd give it to me to file. I'd say, okay, I'll file it. And then a week, a month, a day, a decade later, he'd say, I gave you such and such. And I'd say, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I would go get it. Today, he will say to me, I gave you such and such, and I will have no recollection of it, none. But I'll say, if you gave it to me, I can know where it is. And I can go to my system. Both, I have some things in paper and some things in digital. I know where to go. And in a matter of seconds, I can hand it to him. And even as I look at it, it's like, wow, I don't remember putting it there. It is a habit. And managing your information can become a habit if you have a system. And our experience is, and the reason the boot camps, we get wonderful, wonderful testimonials from the boot camp. And it's because it provides 3 things. Number one, it provides you a framework, a system that is worked. Thousands of people use it and have used it for decades, literally. So there's a system. Second, it's a community. You know, there's a lot of shame around the fact that we don't know how to do this. We think we should. We're smart people. Why are we struggling so much? And so to be in a community of other people is very comforting and encourages you to keep going. And then there's accountability. We're all far more willing to be accountable to other people than we are to ourselves. So in the boot camp, you get that. You get a system, you get community, and you get accountability. And that is a win-win.
Amen. Perfectly said. So I appreciate all of the, I've gotten texts and emails and messages, and I know you guys are watching. I'm hearing from people all over the world saying, are you okay? So we're like all over the news. So I just want you to know, we are okay. I'm okay. Demetrius is okay. And most of the people that I know are okay. I think everybody is physically okay. There are cars flooded and there are homes that are on the ground floor flooded. But I haven't heard of any instances of anybody being hurt or dying because of the storm. So thank you for your continued prayers. We will recover, and it'll be a matter of days for some people and weeks maybe for others, but Carolina Beach will come back. And it's not just Carolina Beach, it's Wilmington. Like I said, the East Coast, I think we got hit in Carolina Beach the hardest, but there are other areas around here that are also feeling it, Brunswick County, New Hanover County as well. So
Andrea, I just want to insert here. I think this is also, you know, this is compared to the things that are going on around the world in so many ways, so many floods. My project in India, there have been enormous floods there. It's just a reminder of how grateful we need to be for what we have. And also, I'm a woman of prayer, and I believe that prayer helps, and we should continually pray for each other and the people around the world who are struggling with weather and wars and political upheaval. But God has a plan, and we're glad to be part of that plan.
Amen. Amen. And let us help you create your productive environment digital dashboard. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Productive Environment Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye.